Welcome to Slightly Burnt Toast. We are finally getting out of hibernation because it is 17 degrees out and winter is over. And now I can't go skiing or snowboarding, so life is kind of dark and gloomy.
Ended off our podcast last with the Happy Holidays episode, and we really just went into hibernation. I feel like...
Yeah, we had. Yeah, we were just like, there's too much happening last year. Actually, the start of this year was very busy too, so I think we were just like, holy shit, we got like go.
Yeah, it was very busy, but I think we both usually need a little bit of time to just reboot.
Yeah, probably because we weren't in that routine of it either, and then we just kind of fell off the tracks.
No, that's not fair to say. I think it's because I got a concussion. So TLDR to everyone who is tuning in, I'm learning how to ski. Well, I was learning how to ski, and I took a few lessons and I went down the green and it was okay. I wouldn't say like I'm super pro at it, but I got really confident and I was like, I can go down a blue. And then I lost my balance.
Control.
Well, yeah. And my control and my balance. And I went, I tumbled. I don't know, like you really watched it happen. I didn't tumble.
No, you just fell backwards.
Okay, well, basically I hit my head.
Yeah.
And that ended up being a concussion, and my right eye was a bit messed up for a little bit.
Very mild concussion, I would say. Thankfully, it wasn't like a serious one.
Yeah, but still, like, my right eye was kind of weird, so I would say it was pretty bad, because I've never had a concussion before.
Yeah, that was weird, though, because that came about, like, 2 weeks after.
No, it came 1 week after.
Oh, okay.
It happened on your birthday.
Yeah, so my birthday was mostly at the hospital.
We were in an emergency. And I feel so bad till today because we were in emergency for, 6 hours out of the day for your birthday. And I was so sad. Like, I was just so sad. I started crying because I had all of these things planned for you. And I woke up and my right eye was so blurry and I got so scared. And I was like, great. This is great. Happy birthday. We're going to emergency.
Yeah. Exciting times.
So that happened. And I guess we also had intended to start recording, like filming the podcast. So it's not just audio. We actually have to look somewhat human and presentable.
Yeah, so I had to go lose some weight.
You needed some time to go to the gym to prepare for this.
Very rude. Not something we need to be talking out in public right now.
I'm just kidding. But it's also so funny because usually when we record these podcasts, it's at night because it's just purely audio. But we wanted to start recording video as well. But your posture has totally changed because before this, you'd be like, just like talking in the microphone. And now you're just like, let me flex my muscles.
I'm not flexing just because like if I am not conscious about it, I'll just like slouch. And
I think it's fine if you slouch. You don't have to be different. I don't think just because the
different. I think it's more of like back health overall that I should be conscious about it anyway.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, that's why it took us. Our cores are very
weak.
What?
Our cores are very weak.
Yeah, cores are very weak.
Like we walk around like the Hunchback in Notre Dame half the time. like
we're just like crouched over the computer.
I'm like half Gollum most of the day.
Yeah.
You know, like the keyboard is my best friend. I'm just looking at it.
So that's why it's taken us so long to record anything. If you're a new listener to our podcast, Slightly Burnt Toast is something that we decided to do together as a couple for fun. So if you're here for any sort of educational content, actually not even motivational content.
The only thing you'll learn about is basically our takes on life, and it might be wrong.
Yeah, and we're clearly out of practice because we keep talking over each other.
This is how your family talks all the time, so I think I'm just getting used to it. Sometimes I'll be like having dinner like with her family, and there's just like 4 conversations going on at once, and they're like, why aren't you saying anything? It's just like, I can't keep track of 4 conversations. So I just decide that
you're just gonna have an internal conversation. I'm just gonna
eat and enjoy, my own conversation.
In your head.
Yeah.
So to everyone else looking at you, you're just there like having a meal and everyone is chatting and you just look like you're in your own world. Anyway, I don't know how we got on this tangent, but that's why we've taken so long to record a podcast. Also, it's been so gloomy and dark.
I liked it.
Of course you liked it. You like anything that is opposite to what I like.
No, I just like cloudy weather because it's nice and cool.
Like, I can say, oh, I like the color green, and you're like, I don't like the color green.
I was literally wearing green earlier, and you told me to change out of it for a darker shirt. Terrible example.
We've been watching a lot of TV, right?
Yeah, so we've been watching this Korean drama called... okay, so the Korean translation, the actual Korean title is very different, but the English title that they've translated to is like When Life Gives You Tangerines, which is just like, you know, when life gives you lemons, obviously. It's like, I don't know if that's an actual saying in Korea, but man, Sam just cried her eyes out on the last episode, and it was a good show.
It's okay, first, it's a beautiful story. One of the best storytelling that I have ever experienced, because it's...
Wait. Before we go any further, let's not say anything that will spoil the show. You know, like, let's not put spoilers in it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, spoiler alert anyway, in case you're thinking of watching it. Because I don't know, I can't control what I say. Like, what if I accidentally say something when I'm in the heat of, like, conversation? Or what if you say something, because we all know that you're really bad at keeping secrets, or, like, you just blurt out anything you think. So, spoiler alert anyway, for anyone who's planning on watching this.
Why are you attacking me right now?
I think it's just really warm, and I was just doing all the tech setup by myself, which is fine because you don't know how to do it.
Oh, okay, now you're attacking me because I'm an idiot. If I did place the cameras, you would just come and replace it anyway.
That is true. That's something that I need to change about myself. Like, I'm not a perfectionist, though. I was going to say, like, if you're a perfectionist, but I'm not a perfectionist. I'm not a perfectionist.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, let's not go off track. What was I saying? Okay, yeah. So, spoiler alert, in case you're planning on watching When Life Gives You Tangerines.
You should probably watch it.
You should probably watch it, even if you don't speak Korean, like I don't speak Korean, or I don't understand it either. It's just a really beautifully done script. Like, the dialogue, whoever wrote this is just so talented. It's filmed in such a beautiful way, and just the storytelling. Like, if you appreciate good storytelling in TV shows and movies, like, you would really, really enjoy this, because it's nothing that's too dramatic or flowery. Like, I grew up watching Chinese dramas, and it's like someone falls down the stairs, or like this person's here to steal that person's company and they're gonna screw you over. Anyway, it's nothing too dramatic. It's just about being a human and, like, living life.
Yeah. That's what like my sister-in-law, I guess our sister-in-law, was talking about, right? Like, she was like, oh, it's like just a very human show, which is, I think we've definitely seen a couple of movies that are like that, where there's just like a very human aspect to it, where it's not something elaborate. It's just somebody's life. Something happens. It's simple. It explains the times, and that's just really it.
Yeah.
But then it just, like, kind of hits you, because you're just like, oh, shit. You know, like, you can't really explain it, but you just, like, have this sense of realization that, like, what you're watching is something that you can either relate to, or you know that eventually you're going to relate to. And you're just like,
Well, I think that's why I was sobbing so hard, and it was so emotional for a lot of people, not just me, because you're right, it is about life. And without spoiling too much, it does touch on, like, very different, like, many different layers. So it touches on poverty, it touches on different socioeconomic statuses, it touches on family dynamics with gender roles, it touches on dreams and goals and grief. So there's a lot of layers that's very human. It's a very shared experience. And it's woven into this beautiful storytelling where we watch the characters from different generations. Like, we basically watch them when they're a kid all the way till when they have their own kids. And so it's like you're watching someone's life, and you get to know the characters, and you get to, like, care about them. That's why it's so sad.
Stop talking. You're kind of giving away the plot here.
No, but that's the plot. You can look at it online. It's just like a general plot, right?
True.
But yeah, I was very emotional. I haven't sobbed like that. Like, Albert was actually quite shocked at how much I was sobbing. Like, it's, you know, when you cry, there's, like, the tear coming out of your eye, or, like, you're, like, sniffing a little bit. No.
She was, like, gasping for air.
I was, yeah.
And I was just like silently feeding her tissues. It was like here and like cleaning up the old one. And eventually she would just have her like shirt up like this. She was like, I was like, what? It's like it's picking up the tears.
It was because I was rubbing my eyes too much, so I just put the tissue underneath my like lower lashes so that all the water would just
just like a rain mask.
Oh my god, it was just. And the next day, like my eyes were so swollen. Like I have double eyelids, and the next day it was just one solid eyelid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
It was you teared up a little bit. I saw you from the corner of my eye.
I don't cry.
I saw you. You were just like
What's that like the police officer from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs where the teardrop comes out?
Where
It's
you're
like, get back in there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful, beautiful TV show.
I mean, I was talking with my mom about it, and I was like telling her how sad you were.
Yeah.
You know, throughout the show at like certain parts, and she was just like, "Why? Like, it's such a happy story." And then in my mind, I was like, "Man, it's probably because you like experienced all this like to a certain degree already. Like, you look at it very differently than us. Whereas,
Yeah.
like as kids, and kids were 33. Shit, we're like
We're still
basically
kids.
adults." Oh, I'm never growing up at this rate.
I know. I feel like our generation feels like that, but I can see the beauty in it. I can see why she would think it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
I mean, she viewed it as like a very happy story, and I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it is very happy in like to a certain perspective that you like watch it in.
Yeah.
But I think the part that we wanted to touch on was just like this idea of Western Hollywood or like grander like aspects of love, where it's just like it's not really love, it's just like passion, right? Like passionate, fiery, all like firecrackers and everything's all like sunshine and rainbows all the time kind of deal. Versus this show like displayed it very differently, where it was just like very consistent, present, and just always there, being supportive. And you know that
It's
aspect
like a slow
of love.
burn.
Well, no, it's like I don't know if it's a slow burn. I would say it's more of like an accurate depiction of what love in like everyday life is actually going to be like, right? Because you're gonna date, you're gonna go through the honeymoon phase, you're gonna get all this excitement and stuff, but then eventually the reality is that you're gonna live together and go through hurdles of life together, like finances, rent, like
Hard stuff.
yeah, hard stuff will happen. And I think it's just that this show very much portrayed what that level of like dedicated relationship will be like, as opposed to, you know, like Hollywood, where it's like,
Let me slam you against the wall.
yeah. Okay. But exactly, right? Like,
Yeah.
in media we see, oh, like it should be like a constant burning flame, but that's not what it's like, right? Like sometimes we just sit there and not say anything to each other, but we're still like there.
And that you should always date your spouse. That's the saying, right? Like you should always put effort in and like go on dates and stuff like that. So the passion should always be there. Like you should always feel like happy and like in love with your partner.
Yeah.
But it's never always going to be that level of passion when you first meet someone, when you first start dating, that honeymoon phase where you just like, it's lust. Like you're so lustful, right? And I think you're right when you say that sometimes if you've never been in love, or if you're someone who's starting to date and you're like, oh, I wonder why, like after X amount of time, like I'm not as attracted, so maybe this is not the right relationship, and then people walk away from something that could be beautiful. But this is, it's showing you that love is choosing the person that you've chosen, and you choose them actively every day, especially when things get really, really hard. Yeah,
so obviously with their parents, if you talk about the lives that they live and like the difficulties that they faced, they're gonna give you these perspectives on, okay, well, like during those difficult moments, what was their relationship like, right? Like I know for a fact that my parents have faced multiple financial difficulties, but then just like over time, you know, they still managed to stick through it and like stay together. But that doesn't come from just like you can't be only present and paying the bill, right? There's like a certain level of like you're present and you're showing the support.
Yeah.
So I guess the real question is, like, if you're married to somebody, and this is just me thinking out loud, and you're not really sure if they're the right person, it's like, if you were suddenly left with nothing, would you still be there?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of beautiful, actually. It's like, would you still love the person?
I'm a poet.
You have your moments. You still choose to be with this person through thick and thin. Like, you say your vows, you're like, through hard times and like great times. Of course, when it's great, everyone wants to hang out and be together, right? Yeah. So basically, I like to watch videos or read about movie or like TV analysis after I watch something that I really enjoy.
Spoilers.
Anyway, yes, I do like spoilers. A lot of people hate me for that because I spoil myself for shows before I actually watch it. But I was watching something about someone was talking about the relationship of the characters in When Life Gives You Tangerines, and they said something very similar. It's like, you want to be with someone who, like, if you picture times getting really hard, like, you still want to be with that person. Like, that's the person that you want to go through the hard times together because they're your best friend.
When you have kids,
at
what point do you agree and make those sacrifices? And then, like, you know, from the kid's perspective, like, when do you realize that those sacrifices were made by, you know, the people in your family?
Yeah.
I would definitely say people should watch this show and kind of look for those moments in the show.
Yeah. Honestly, this show's been out, and I feel like there's so many spoilers on TikTok. We also did a spoiler alert.
TikTok, man, like those, like when you're scrolling, I'm just seeing from the side corner, and something pops up, and it's like, oh, damn
that
it.
Is like, why. Okay, so. When we were watching the series, I kept getting these little snippets of the later episodes for this TV show, and it made me so incredibly sad. Like, I had such a visceral reaction when I would see it on TikTok that I would just want to cry, that I told Elbert, like, let's just sit through and just go through all these 3 last episodes, because I can't go through this again. I can't keep feeling like worried that I would see something that would make me sad. If we could do a full-on analysis of this TV show, that'd be so incredible, because there's so many layers that is so human. There's so many things that the character said that I'm like, oh my god, I've said that before, either internally or like with my family, but
very rarely internally.
Just came to mind because we were just talking about like the children and how if they know that sacrifices were made, and characters like the daughter says something where she's just like, she's the eldest and she feels such guilt for everything. Like, she feels guilty because of the sacrifices that they made, but she hates, like, she feels guilty that she doesn't want to send her family X, Y, and Z when she becomes successful. And I think that's such a human thing that maybe a lot of elder children, like if you're the oldest, you do feel that. I think maybe it might be more prevalent in Asian families versus Caucasian. Not saying that Caucasian families don't feel that guilt and burden to take care of your family when you're successful, but it's definitely a very Asian older child feeling to have. It's that guilt and that burden that you're not doing enough.
I don't know if it's fair to say that's only like an Asian thing, though.
No. I'm sure that
I think the natural thing would be that when you're the oldest, it will just happen regardless of what culture you're in.
Yeah. It's a beautiful show. Should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
Definitely not something that we watch again, though. This is the one and done. Like, I'm not watching this show again.
I don't know. Yeah,
you said you wouldn't.
Yeah, I remember saying that, but I feel like after a few years, I wouldn't mind revisiting it. Because there's definitely been a few shows like this where I was also like, oh, I don't want to rewatch it. But it was like a great experience watching it.
Yeah.
But you always know that once you've seen it, just like the whole Star Wars, you know, people are like, oh, I wish I could relive that experience of finding out that Darth Vader is Luke's father, kind of deal. Like, once you know, you'll never get that same experience back.
Yeah.
But like another movie that was very similar to this was The Green Book, right?
I was just thinking that.
Right. We have rewatched The Green Book, I think, twice now.
Twice, yeah.
And it was just like one of those things where, oh, like, it's very sad and difficult, like, what the movie goes through. But after a while, you're just kind of like, oh, I kind of want to, like, see it again.
Yeah. That's true. The Green Book is, again, a very human. There's a very human element of it. And nothing too dramatic either, right? It's just, like, 2 characters, but you see the growth of each character from the start till the end of the film, and it's a beautiful story, beautiful storytelling as well. I feel like they won a ton of awards for that show.
Yeah, the part that drew me in was Vigo, I forget his last name, Lord of the Rings, Aragorn dude. Anyway, but like his character development was really the biggest thing for me, because the movie happens, and it's based on real life story. The movie happens in a time period in the U.S. that is, I want to say,
racist.
Yeah, very racist. So
Still
not that
racist.
different from today. Which, you guys, come on, like, let's move on.
Yeah, definitely watch it. One of our top 5 shows that, or like experiences that we've gone
it's
to.
Up there. I stopped numbering because there's quite a few like good shows.
Yeah. You didn't prepare any Reddit stories for us to go through.
No.
So
I did read something this morning that it's not particularly wife and husband, or like wife and wife, husband kind of relationship.
This is not a relationship podcast.
No,
though.
I know. But this was more so about shitty parents and a kid and a grandmother.
TLDR it. Let's see.
Mom and the dad divorce, right? And this kid is excited to have a new family when he finds out that her dad's gonna remarry, but the step siblings are total dicks, right? They're just bullies, and they basically ostracize her out of the family. And the dad and the new stepmom does nothing, just being like, you gotta accept that, this very difficult time. It's like, dude, it's difficult for all the kids, not just your kids, like the grandmother is seeing this, so the mother of the dad is seeing this, being like, why aren't you like doing anything to like address this problem, right? Like, because this kid is obviously being bullied by the step siblings. And so the grandmother's obviously taking the side, and the parents don't do anything. The kid, when they turn 17, finds a way to like leave the house and goes to live with the grandmother. She ended up becoming the primary caregiver, and very young, right? Like in the early 20s. And during this time, contact with the dad and the stepmom and their side of the family has basically like dropped to near zero. After the grandmother dies, she leaves everything to her granddaughter.
Yeah.
Which obviously, like,
duh.
If even your son's not coming to visit you when you're sick, or it's like once a year or something like that, and you know that the step siblings are total assholes, obviously the grandma's gonna be like, I'm not giving anything to those little shits, right?
Yeah.
And plus the new stepmother. But then the dad contacts the daughter to be like, that should have gone to me because I was her child.
That's so gross.
And so what ended up happening is that the grandmother willed $100 to the dad, which is, I guess, the minimum you need to do to prevent lawsuits. Which, damn, smart lady.
Should have left him a note being like,
yeah, fuck you, little shit. Here's a bunch of quarters.
Yeah, you don't deserve this.
And the dad was obviously like, hey, like, that should have gone, at least spread out between like the step siblings and like us, because the step siblings are struggling financially, and this could like really help them. And so now it's just like, is the granddaughter's asking, like, is she being the jerk for not sharing like some of that money from her grandmother with like the others? And the consensus online is that no, absolutely not, because
no,
yeah, well, like, I mean, assuming that she said everything truthfully and that's exactly how it occurred, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think she's the asshole at all. I don't think she should feel guilt at all, because
zero guilt.
The rest of the family were horrible to her, and she was the only one taking care of her grandmother.
Yeah.
So if I was the grandmother, I actually would have filmed a video being like, screw all of you. This is all going to her. Yeah. So bye, bitches.
Yeah, exactly like that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we always talk about how realistically I never want to leave my kids anything. So
I don't agree with that.
I mean, we'll leave them something.
$100.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that story. It made me really pissed off.
Now I have to deal with bad mood Sam all day.
No. I've been watching so many videos on TikTok of fufu and egusi.
Oh my god.
It's like an African cuisine. I've never had it, but I was just watching so many mukbang videos of people eating it. I'm like, oh, I want this. And we're going to go find it today.
Yes. Curious, like, okay, so remember how like you were on the SkyTrain and there were some like folks from Africa that you want to go and ask, but then you were not sure about coming across as, you know, insensitive by asking if they knew like any African restaurants or places where you might find fufu and like egusi. Yeah. So I'm curious, you know, if people are listening to the podcast, like, is that insensitive? Like, if I, as somebody that am not familiar with like an African cuisine, but want to try something, and there's somebody just like a total stranger that might know.
Yeah, I was worried because I don't know, like I never want to come off as insensitive or just making assumptions, because for all you know, they're probably, maybe they didn't grow up in Africa just because they look African. Maybe they grew up in Asia, like, right? You never know.
Yeah.
And also because they're complete strangers.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like we're friends or anything, or like we've had any sort of conversation. Like if it was someone I kind of knew, like as an acquaintance, then yeah, I think I would ask, like, you know, like not trying to be like weird, but I wouldn't want to try this.
True.
But then on the flip side, I'm like, if I was on the SkyTrain and someone came up to me, and this has happened before, just start speaking Mandarin to me and be like, you know, where should I go for Asian food? I'd be like, first, I don't understand what you're saying. But if they swapped and were asking me like, oh, hey, where can I go for this cuisine? I don't think I would be offended. I'd be like, oh my God, let me just tell you about all these places that you could go to.
Yeah.
But I mean, every person's different, and I don't know. I wasn't in the mood of testing the waters.
That's fair. Yeah. I guess for us, as people are like, hey, dude, like, you know, when you get Korean restaurants, I'd be like, hell yeah. Dude. Like, I'll tell you, man.
Yeah.
And it's okay that you assumed, because
you're right.
You know?
I'm going to end off with a fun story. The other day, I was talking to Elbert about planning a date, and then he was like, oh, I have a special date planned for us. So we went out for dinner, and he was like, we're going to go watch a movie. And I'm like, oh my God, a movie? Okay. And I was like, what kind of movie? And if you don't know us personally, Elbert does not like horror or true crime. He like actually really, really hates it. I find it very enjoyable watching him watch it. But I do like horror. Like, I don't mind it. I think it's quite exciting to watch. Anyway, he said that I bought like we're gonna go for a horror movie, and I was so impressed because I'm like, wow, honey, I know you don't like it, but oh, okay, like let's go watch a horror movie together.
It was a scary movie. I very specifically said that I found the middle ground. And that was marked as horror and comedy. So
that was not a middle ground. It was about a unicorn. Okay,
man-eating unicorn.
Granted, the unicorn, it was quite gory. It was quite violent. Like, it was like biting into people and like killing them. But
yeah,
it's not horror, honey. It's not. It's not. Anyway. I'm going to leave you with that.
That was horrible for me, so, you know, horror.
Thank you for doing that. How does it feel being filmed for the first time? I mean, you're usually in my videos, but this is the first time that do you notice that the cameras were rolling? It actually felt quite organic after a little while.
I feel like I'm ready for OnlyFans. Subscription based. Find
Elbert on OnlyFans for some spicy material.
It'll be called Albert.
Tune in for some Albert content.
Which is Spanish for D-Bird, I think.
Okay, bye guys. Bye. Tune in next time. See ya.
Ciao.